Saludos amigos y amigas televidentes que se dan cita en este momento en Vive Sanamente. Para mí nuevamente es un honor compartir con ustedes y en el programa de hoy vamos a estar llevándoles una información sumamente valiosa a cada uno de ustedes. En un programa reciente estuvimos compartiendo acerca de la iridología holística y estuvimos hablando acerca del doctor David Pesek, iridólogo, terapeuta psicológico, nutricionista clínico y el exponente principal de la iridología holística alrededor del mundo. Y tenemos en el programa de hoy la oportunidad, como le avisamos, que iba a estar en Puerto Rico, de tenerlo aquí en Vive Sanamente para hablar un rato y conversar con el doctor Pesek acerca de sus experiencias, acerca de lo que es la iridología holística y también de los planes que él tiene para llevar a cabo cursos aquí en la isla de Puerto Rico. Así que quiero presentarles, tener el privilegio de presentarles al doctor David Pesek. Dr. David Pesek, welcome to Puerto Rico.
Gracias.
I'm glad to have you here in my program, Vive Sanamente.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, Dr. Norman. Indeed, I'm honored to be here on your program, the opportunity that you're giving me to share information about iridología holística.
Muy bien, muy bien. El placer es mío. So, en estos días estuvimos compartiendo en una actividad del Dr. Pesek, donde él hizo una introducción a la iridología holística y los cursos que va a estar dando en Puerto Rico. Pero yo quiero, ¿verdad?, que él nos hable un poco acerca de su experiencia alrededor. Él tiene estudiantes de alrededor de 52 países en el mundo. Y me gustaría que nos hablara un poco. I would like you to talk to us and to the public that watches the TV program about your experience with holistic iridology around the world, Dr. Pesek.
Well, it's a wonderful blessing that I feel to have students in now 52 countries around the world on all 5 major continents. And what I am finding is that there is a waking up of the human consciousness, the human spirit. And with this waking up of the human spirit, that people are becoming more open to taking care of themselves and responsibility for their own health and turning away from a conventional system that has been failing them for a century. And so for people to look at holistic iridology in such a way, and what we mean by that is that it's spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical aspects of our human existence can be seen in our eyes. And that is the system called iridología holística, or in English, holistic iridology. And because, Dr. Norman, that it is such a powerful way of helping people to understand themselves, to aid them in a path to wellness and prevention,
All right.
that it's spreading around the world very rapidly.
Okay, I'm glad that your perception of what is going on around the world is the same perception that we are having here in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a very special country, Dr. Pesek, because in Puerto Rico, iridology was introduced early in the mid-70s. My father was one of the pioneers of iridology here in Puerto Rico, so when we talk about iridology, most of the people have already an idea of what conventional iridology is. And, but we have now the experience of getting the exposure to the new advances of iridology.
Right.
In the latest, in the last part of the last century and the beginning of this one, there have been developments as in any other field, health field, but in iridology it has been very very important, the concept of bringing the whole body, as you said, together, mentally, spiritually, thought and emotions,
yes.
and the physical part in a way that
integrates
for the well-being of the patient, for the patient to become conscious of not only what is going on in terms of what is going in the medical field, but the most important thing is that they understand themselves, you know, so they become conscious of the different areas that are involved when we're talking about the human well-being. Okay, so in making a parenthesis, to go to the Spanish-speaking people,
claro.
lo que hemos estado hablando aquí con el Dr. Pesek es que él ha percibido a través de su experiencia en 52 países y en 5 continentes, es que la gente han abierto su conciencia a tener más cuidado de su salud, algo que no había ocurrido por muchos años en el campo de la medicina natural convencional, y entonces a través de la medicina integrativa, a través de la medicina natural, a través de la iridología holística, se está creando un despertar no solamente en el público, sino también en los profesionales de la salud, de tal manera que se está creando este interés para tomar la responsabilidad de la salud en sus manos. Okay? People need to get responsible.
The responsibility into their own hands.
Exactly.
And I have been in Medicina Natural for 39 años, muchos años. And so what I have found in the beginning, when I first started practice in natural medicine in Florida, that we were considered alternative. You're over here, we're alternative by the conventional system.
Exactly.
You're over here. Well, this is an alternative.
Exactly.
If everything else doesn't work, try this. This is primera. Medicina natural is primera. But then it evolved into complementary. So the conventional system of medicine and healthcare began to look at what we do. And your father is a pioneer in this, Medicina Natural.
Exactly.
They began to look at us as practitioners, and what we believe in and what we're practicing is, hey, maybe this can work. It's complementary instead of alternative.
Actually,
now it's complementary.
Exactly.
Then it has evolved into integrative.
Exactly.
And now what we do is considered in mainstream medicine is integrative healthcare. So now
inclusive.
we're beginning to become more integrated.
Exactly.
And the people around the world are becoming more integrated themselves naturally.
Exactly.
It's an organic movement of consciousness and the spirit of our connection with Dios.
Exactly. Because we have to admit that our connection with our Creator, it is what it's established the basis for everything that it goes on in our mind, in our system, in our cells, and everything has to be in order for you to have good health. Okay, and you were talking something very very interested, and that maybe 30 years ago. And I'm going to talk about the experience here in Puerto Rico. 30 years ago, naturopath, iridologists were seen like something, you know, and it was like 15 or 20 years dealing with many situations until our pioneers, my father and a group of naturopath in Puerto Rico, got to the point with the Governor Rosselló to establish naturopathy as a complementary practice, and we were included on the health system of Puerto Rico.
That's excellent.
And in that way, we have been able to advance in the integration of these other alternatives to a way that many medical doctors are already practicing integrative medicine. They are using tools and practices that were exclusive to naturopathy, and they are integrating those practices into their practice of medicine. But the important thing about iridology is that iridology sets everything together. Right there in the screen, Dr. Pesek, there is a picture of my father in 1979 in the Natural Center of Natural Therapies here in Puerto Rico. He's taking, he's evaluating a patient with his iridoscope. By that time, 1979, you can see how young he looks.
Sure. And the equipment of that time. So
you have an idea of the advancement here in Puerto Rico of iridology, that now with your presentation and the integration of the thought and the emotional part and the spiritual part together with the physical neuroendocrinology and everything that is and all the scientific data,
evidence
of the connection of the iris with the central nervous system, and throughout the central nervous system, the hypothalamus, the thalamus, and how it integrates to all the organs. Now we can validate this science and the art of iridology to the point that worldwide is getting acceptance. And you're going to talk to me about the worldwide acceptance after this cut that we are going to do, a commercial cut.
Okay.
Sí, nos vemos en breve.